What's your secret sauce? What type of moving average? Simple, EMA, then what number of days, what period are you using? Then you said that you want it above the moving average. Do you wait pagka breakout, bili ka na, or do you wait a couple of candlesticks before that?
Like I said, I want to be trading the momentum, and so I identify the resistance levels, and then once I see that the stock is moving out from it, that's when I usually buy, because that means the sentiment of the crowd is positive. And so in the stock market kasi, diba, it's about supply and demand. So if demand is oversupply, that means it's likely to go up. Well, ideally, the 20-day moving average is above the 50-day moving average. And then for the stock itself, the price doesn't always have to be above the 20-day moving average. So as long as the two moving averages are above each other, then that's when I can start looking for possible continuation patterns. So as long as prices don't go below the 50-day moving average, for me, I consider that to be bullish pa din.
If it hits the resistance, do you wait for confirmation, or one red candle at the resistance you sell? So for example, this is interesting. It hits intraday, do you sell or do you wait for confirmation for the next day? What's your most memorable trade where you made money, and then what's your most memorable trade also where you lost money as well?
Well, two recent trades that I did is for Now Corporation. So I rode the stock for a gain of about 30% in about 2 weeks, and also KPPI recently when it moved down from 11 pesos to 15. So I just couldn't bear looking at it in my portfolio. It was showing me red every day. It was just deepening my losses, and so I said, I just need to learn from this. I need to make sure this doesn't happen again, and so that's my chief reason for cutting losses on it. So it's something that I said, I want to be able to do that. No, I want to be able to make money even if I'm just sitting at home, looking at my monitor and then just trading stock.
In this video, we talk to FirstMetro Securities Robbi Samson as he talks about his strategies in technical analysis. What does he use? Support, resistance, moving averages, MACD, RSI, what is it? Learn from his skills, learn from his techniques, and I hope this is something that adds so much value to you. So check this video out.
Please subscribe to Marvin's YouTube channel.
And hit the bell, guys. Ha? Thank you so much. Thank you. Nabigyan nyo ng pagkakataon yung tulad ko na hindi gwapo na masubscribe sa YouTube. So, enjoy the rest of the video. Hi everyone, we're with Robbi Samson.
Hello.
Kasing lakas ni Samson sa stocks. Kung Samson sa Bible, sobrang lakas siya, sobrang lakas sa stocks. He's from FirstMetro Securities. Now, what I want to talk about is this. What's your style in trading? So, kasi you're gonna talk about trading systems later on. So, for those who are not able to attend Icon 2019 here in Davao, can you share your secrets also, guys? Sobrang yaman niya. So, game, go!
Well, basically, I want to invest in stocks that are trending upwards, no? So, sabi pa nga nila, the trend is your friend. So, I tend to follow that saying. So, I look for stocks with momentum. So, I want stocks that people are buying. I don't really invest in stocks that people are selling down. So I want to be in with the crowd. I want to trade the momentum, and so I look for stocks that are going up. So that's one of my most important factors.
Okay, so when you said, I like two things that you said. You said that you want stocks that are trending up. Then you said you want stocks that have momentum. So what do you use to determine the trend, and then what do you use also to determine momentum? Because there's a lot of variants. There's a lot of techniques on how you can determine it. So what's your style? How do you do it?
So first of all, I break down the stock into different stages. So I typically look for stocks that are inclining upwards and that has moving averages that are also inching upwards. So as long as they are moving up, for me, I think that's something we can consider to be in an uptrend.
Okay.
Afterwards, I tend to look for what we call in the industry bullish continuation patterns. So these are patterns that form when a stock is consolidating with the expectation that it will continue to go up. So you can easily research the different kinds of bullish continuation patterns, but mostly they're very easy to understand. And so that's what I look for in a stock. No? I want to see a stock that is going up and forming a bullish continuation pattern.
Okay, you mentioned about moving averages,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So what moving average do you use? Kasi please remember this, ha. I've asked this so many times. There's no secret moving average. It all has to be determined also on what works for you. Kasi you can ask a different person, iba-iba yung lalabas na moving average sasabihin nila. So I want to know, what's your secret sauce? What type of moving average? Simple, EMA, then what number of days, what period are you using? Then you said that you want it above the moving average. Do you wait pagka-breakout, bili ka na, or do you wait a couple of candlesticks before that? So, yon lang. Na last more questions pa.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I use is the 20 and 50-day moving averages. So for me, if you're investing or trading in the stock market but you don't have a lot of time to really monitor it, I think that's a safe moving average to use because you can check it at least once or twice a day lang, and then you can glean something rational from it. Now, aside from that, when it comes to using the moving averages, I want them to break out of resistances. No, so like I said, I want to be trading the momentum, and so I identify the resistance levels, and then once I see that the stock is moving out from it, that's when I usually buy, because that means the sentiment of the crowd is positive, and so in the stock market kasi, diba, it's about supply and demand. So if demand is oversupply, that means it's likely to go up.
Okay. You mentioned about 20 and 50. What's your rule? You have to buy once it's up the 20, or it has to be above both 20 and 50, or either of the two?
Well, ideally, the 20-day moving average is above the 50-day moving average. And then, for the stock itself, the price doesn't always have to be above the 20-day moving average. So as long as the two moving averages are above each other, then that's when I can start looking for possible continuation patterns. So as long as prices don't go below the 50-day moving average, for me, I consider that to be bullish pa din.
So, I'm trying to imagine what you're saying. So, it doesn't have to be, the stock doesn't have to be above the 20-day as long as it's above the 50-day.
50-day, yes.
Tapos, your buy signal there is when it breaks out from the 50, or you wait until it breaks out from the 20?
Well, when it breaks out from the pattern itself.
Okay.
So it's usually the static resistance level.
So you draw your own
Yeah,
spot resistance
yes,
also.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
So parang what you do is reference point lang yung
Yes.
moving average to tell you if there's more buying, but you
Yes.
still draw your own spot. Oh, that's very interesting also.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Tapos, so once you wait for a pattern, you draw it. Pagka breakout doon, that's when you start to buy.
Yes.
Okay. So if there's a breakout from something that you would draw but it's below the 50, you don't disregard it?
Yes. For me, that might just be a bounce. So a bounce is something that happens when the stock falls down sharply, and then the natural tendency is for people to buy it up for a little bit. But I don't consider that to be a long-term strategy. No? So when you play a bounce, you should sell it quickly afterwards. But what I look for is a stock that is above the 50-day moving average talaga. Because the upward move, the momentum is more sustainable. Because there's a lot more support coming in from investors and traders that are looking to buy the stock.
This is interesting, no? Kasi most of the people that use moving average, tamad na mag-drawing ng sarili nila
Yes.
support and resistance. So you're combining both naman. So
Yes.
that's interesting. Now, you bought it from the breakout of the resistance that you're drawing. How do you sell?
Well, I usually sell it. I set a target price at the nearest closest resistance level. So the major resistance level that is next after the previous resistance, that's usually my target price.
Okay.
But I also, in some ways, especially in tough markets such as now, I tend to place a lot more emphasis on the candles that they are forming. So if I see that it has been going up steadily, but it hasn't reached my target price yet, but then it gives us a big red candle, meaning a huge sell down, then for me, that's reason enough to take profits. So I don't wait further for my target price if that is the case.
Okay. Normally when you measure that, so it's not near the resistance yet, but there's a red candle already. You sell
Yes.
just one, or you have a combination of red candles before you sell?
No, for me, just the first big red candle is
Okay.
enough for me to sell my position in that particular stock.
Do you have like a percentage on this red candle? 3%, 4%? It's a sell already for me, or wala namang ganung?
Usually, if it's more than half below the body of the previous candle. So if it went up by 1 peso the previous day, if the red candle is more than 50 centavos the next day, that's enough for me to sell the stock.
Okay. eto pa, you said that there's a breakout, then you will plot the next resistance. Normally, you can measure that by percentage.
Yes.
Based on your experience, what's your percentage range for that distance between breakout to the next resistance?
Usually, those percentages tend to be around 10 to 20%. So that's
Okay,
the typical. That's the typical swing of a particular stocks, no. So usually they move up in areas of 10 to 20%. So when I see a stock that is already hovering above 20% from its previous recent low, I'm already very cautious about it. So I anticipate that a lot of investors are looking to sell it afterwards na. So to me, that's a signal na, hey, I need to watch this stock now. I need to be a bit more alert than when it first broke out, and so I can sell early instead of selling late.
So everything is still is predicated on the resistance that you want to
Yes.
plot pa rin. Okay, that's so interesting. Just if it hits the resistance, do you wait for confirmation, or one red candle at the resistance you sell? So for example, this is interesting. It hits intraday, do you sell or do you wait for confirmation for the next day?
I can wait for confirmation on the next day, especially if there's a lot of volume. So if there's still momentum gathering for that particular stock, I tend to wait for the next day to see if it can carry over the momentum. One thing though is that if you see a stock registering a very long what we call upper shadow or upper wick, so if the upper wick is particularly long, then that means there's a lot of resistance at the top. So for me, I am extra cautious when that happens, and so I tend to sell earlier. I don't really wait for any more signals more than that.
Guys,
Yes.
yung frutas, may ganon.
Yes,
Oh, di ba? Yung
yes.
daily chart at least,
Yes.
the daily chart at least.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly. In
oh,
the case
diba?
of frutas.
How do you add volume to the mix naman?
Well, usually I tranche up, no? So I buy as the prices go up to allowable limit, no, near my stop loss. So usually my stop loss is around 5%. So as long as my entry prices don't go above my 5% stop loss limit, I tend to be able to add more. But as long as I see the risk reward ratio being very favorable for me, I don't have any problem sizing up largely on my first tranche.
So for example, you buy it from the but you don't buy from the bounce of support, do you buy?
Not all the
So
time.
normally breakout. So breakout, assuming you bought it certain number percentage higher,
Yeah.
you will have to also wait for it to break down.
Yes.
The
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 pullback.
new support is not parang the new support is not valid. That's why you
Yes.
sell also.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So that's regardless of the candles. That's as long as it hits 5%, kahit in one candle hits 5%, you sell
Yes.
sell already. Okay.
Yes.
Galing.
My only rule is that if the reason that you are entering a stock is invalidated, you need to sell it, regardless of how painful or how quick it may be. When the reason you're entering a position is invalidated, then that's a reason for you to sell, because then whatever you were planning on happening is not going to happen. So that's something that I've learned throughout the years to be very useful. It allows me to protect my capital, and it allows me to trade another day, which is very important when it comes to trading actively.
Tsaka guys, sobrang yaman niya eh.
Ano?
Speaking of sobrang yaman, what's your most memorable trade where you made money? And then what's your most memorable trade also where you lost money as well?
Well, two recent trades that I did is for Now Corporation. So I rode the stock for a gain of about 30% in about 2 weeks, and also KPPI recently when it moved down from 11 pesos to 15. So those are strategies that I
11 to 15 up or 15 to 11 down?
11 pesos to 15.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's, I think, about 30% or so. Yeah. So those are my two most recent trades where I did well. And of course, the most devastating trade that I did was before with SurePass, no. So I think a lot of people got burned by that particular stock because it went down from 18 to 90 centavos. So that gave me even more resolve to learn about trading. That gave me more reason to start forming my own trading system, which is something that I follow now when I trade.
So you bought it at 18.
No,
Okay,
not
okay,
18.
okay.
But it went down from that level. But
Okay.
I lost about 30% in that particular trade. So when I did that, I made sure not to do it again.
Now, ito interesting. What made you buy it? Surpass at that time, and then what made you decide to cut it also as well? Kasi yun yung masakit minsan, madali bumili. Yung ano lang, lalo na online, buy lang, yung number of shares, bahala na, then sell. What was your narrative there?
Well, there were a few reports, some people, a few brokerages that were saying that it might be a good time to buy it. So because of future prospects, no. So that's one reason why I traded it, because it was forming a support on a technical level, and then there was some narrative that it might go up soon. So that's something that I considered when I first started trading Surepass. But then, well, the reason why I sold it is when it was already painful. So I just couldn't bear looking at it in my portfolio. It was showing me red every day. It was just deepening my losses. And so I said, I just need to learn from this. I need to make sure this doesn't happen again. And so that's my chief reason for cutting losses on it.
Yung surpass daw, no, parang ex mo talaga yung pag iniisip mo, masasaktan ka lang ulit eh. Oh, so dapat move on na lang eh.
Yes.
When you started making money from Now and KPPI, what cost, how did you filter it na ito yung titingnan mo? How do you go about that?
Well, it originally started forming a support, no. So it bounced from a particular price level, and so it started forming indications of entering a reversal pattern. So that's something that I used then when trading the stock. So thankfully, it worked out well for me.
Okay. So last question, why are you investing in stocks? What's your goal for all of this? Bakit mo ginagawa yung chismis? Sobrang yaman mo na daw dito sa Davao na di mo to kailangan gawin. Oh, yung mga ganyan
No,
tawa,
no.
yung walang deny, pero
No,
tawa lang
no,
mo,
no.
totoo. Mayaman talaga ako, Marvin.
No.
Okay.
Well, the chief reason why I started investing in stocks was I asked myself a question a few years back. I said to myself, what's one thing that I can do that will continuously make me money, even if I grow older, no? So I said, it seems to be trading stocks is one way to go, because all you really need to do it is a computer, an internet connection. You can actually do it from anywhere, especially if you have a broker that has apps and whatever platform they may be using. So it's something that I said, I want to be able to do that. No, I
Okay.
want to be able to make money even if I'm just sitting at home, looking at my monitor, and then just trading stocks. So that's really what jump started me to get into trading in the stock market.
So how many minutes a day do you spend watching the market naman?
Watching the market, since it's part of my job to do so, I spend the whole day monitoring the market. But afterwards, I still spend maybe about 1 to 2 hours a day studying. So
Okay.
even today, so every time I get the chance, I devote 1 or 2 hours of my time to learning more, to improving my system, to finding new mentors, to learning from different people. So I've been blessed with the opportunity to interact with people like Sir Marvin
Grabe,
here.
grabe.
Yeah,
Hindi
yeah,
ka bayad,
it's-
never
it's
kasi
true, it's
din.
true.
Grabe
It's
naman.
true. It's
GMA
true.
nga lang yung technical ko, wala na ako sinamang anyway.
Yes, so those are the things that I continuously do, because I think this is a lifelong process, no. So I plan on doing this until I retire, no. So it's something that I need to make sure I'm able to do effectively when the time comes.
Ano mas wish mo for 2019? Kumita ng 100% sa stock market or mag-champion yung Lakers?
Well, that's probably the hardest question that I've been asked, no? Pero of course, I still think na yung stock market, because at least then a lot of people would appreciate it, na would benefit from it.
Tsaka pwede ko bumili madaming tickets para
Yes,
oo.
finally.
Pero baka hirap sila. Clippers, guys.
Oo
Lakas
nga,
din,
oo.
malakas yung
Yes,
Clippers.
yes.
So, sige, lubos-lubosin na natin. You said that you go to a reliable broker. Who do you suggest?
Well, of course, I think the answer is obvious, no? So, I'd like to invite everyone to try out FirstMetro Securities. So, yung features, the features that we are developing for the platform are plentiful, are rich. And so, whether you're a long-term or a short-term investor, I think there's something for you there that will be useful. Yung momentum trading that I talked about, you can actually do it from our platform. You can buy when the stock breaks out, and you can cut your losses easily when the stock sells down. So I invite you all to try FirstMetro Securities. Hopefully you like it, no? Because we keep working on it. The whole team is dedicated to making things easier for just all of you.
So, ganito na lang. Type FirstMetro and then they'll try to send you details more.
Yes.
Type FirstMetro on the comment section, then they'll send you details so that you can at least find them or
Yes.
how you can go with them. Tsaka gusto niyo maging sobrang yaman niya, guys. Guys, sobrang yaman. So, I guess that's it for now. He's about to speak in a few minutes where I'm still here in SMX Lanang here in Davao City. So, he's gonna talk about technical trading patterns, but you have a sneak peek to it. And also pala, I'm gonna post a video about yung app nyo. FirstMetro has a new app. It's amazing, but for another video again. So that's it for now. It's nice to feature different people, not different styles, no. Na ako kasi when I like drawing my own support and resistance lang.
Yes.
Yun lang talaga gamit ko. Tapos I just use yung mga MACD moving averages for confirmation
Yeah.
to at least know saan yung position niya, na is it above the 200-day moving average or is it below that. At least alam mo kung saan yung medyo malakas kasi yung resistance nun also. So yun yung ginagawa ko, or pag nag-drawing ako ng line, kung tumama ba talaga dun sa 200, I know that's a very very strong resistance also. So it's nice to hear different philosophies also, kasi please remember this, there's no one person who has the holy grail in investing. You have to figure out different principles and strategies and find out how it works for you. And yun, I hope that you got a lot from Robbi Samson. He's not just parang Samson talaga, sobrang lakas in the way he trades as well. So I hope this video helps you. He's gonna start in a bit. Trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon. Bye everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.